What up, y'all? Come on, Eve. Big day. Turn that down just a little bit. Okay. Bring it back. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the second segment of the ShakeBack Sports Show right here on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. It's your boy, Willie Epting Jr. Checking in, man. Live, loud, and definitely in color. You know how I do's it. And look, we got some exciting stuff to talk about here in the second segment. Just in case you missed it in the first, the hashtag Brothers of Baseball was in the building once again because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are in the middle of October, and the Final Four is set. The NLCS, the ALCS, the Arizona. I like to use the cities, if you know me. The Phoenix Diamondbacks against the Philadelphia Phillies, and of course you had the Arlington Rangers against the Houston Astros. AL West rivals going at it for a right to go to the Fall Classic, and we got a full-fledged NLCS, ALCS preview coming up on Monday with the hashtag Family of Baseball. That, of course, is Melissa. That, of course, is Chris. That, of course, is the Pesky Podcast Boys. That, of course, is Liz. That, of course, is the Rach. That's right, the fan lot. She's going to be joining us as well. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit who's hotter than me when it comes to the NFL here in just a moment. Before we move any further, though, this second segment, it is being brought to you by Front End Sports, founded in 2022. Front End Sports is dedicated to empowering athletes, teams, and organizations with cutting-edge social media, merchandising, and NIL strategies to help your brand through innovative and personalized solutions. Their team consists of experienced professionals with diverse backgrounds in sports, marketing, design, and technology who share a passion for helping others to succeed or helping their clients to succeed and unlock their full potential. So hit up Lowell, hit up Pat at frontendsports.com and let them know that you heard it right here on the ShakeBack Sports Show, the Big Game Christian Sports Network, and of course the ShakeBack Media Group, so they can set it off on expanding your value. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get to some who's hotter than me. Thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook, through my personal page, through the Facebook page for the ShakeBack Media Group, as well as the BGC Sports Network's Facebook page, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram TV. I see you guys out there checking us out. And of course, Twitter. All right, so I got this tab as who's hotter than me. And being hot is not always a good thing, especially when it comes to the word seat and hot being put together. And in this case, we're talking about the hot seat. And who hotter than me, of course, was a cut by Plies himself, the young man from, I think he's from Fort Naples or Naples, Florida, not Fort Naples. That would be Fort Myers, but he's from somewhere around that area. And this was a song that he had, of course, when this album came out, the definition of real, back in 2008, I want to say. But anyway, I digress. I am diverse. Here's the thing. Sean Payton, Mike McCarthy, Brandon Staley, Josh McDaniels, four head coaches in the National Football League, 4 head coaches that have 2 NFL Super Bowl championships as head coaches in Mike McCarthy and Sean Payton with New Orleans and with Green Bay. And then you have Josh McDaniels, who has won 6 or 5, maybe 6, as an offensive coordinator with the New England Patriots. And now you have also Brandon Staley, who was the defensive coordinator for the Rams when they won their Super Bowl in the COVID year of 2020, or may have been the year after. Actually, it was the year after. So yeah, it was 2021. So now you fast forwarded a couple years. Josh McDaniels is only in his second year with the Raiders, and you guys know how I feel about him. And just in case you didn't know, I will remind you, because my nickname for him is Josh McFraud, but others call him Josh McDummy, so he already gets this. Big dummy. Oh no, you big dummy. You dummy. You big dummy. 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 Get lost, dummy. So, although the Raiders have played fairly well, really in 5 of the 6 games, or I'm sorry, 4 of the 5 games, the Raiders have not really played that bad, aside from the second half against the Buffalo Bills. But he's still a big dummy because he's an offensive guru per se, and the Raiders haven't scored any more than 18 points in any one game this season. You're an offensive guru. I understand you had Jimmy Garoppolo, but that is the person that you decided that you wanted instead of Derek Carr. Hot seat? I think so. He was on a hot seat last year. Brandon Staley. Now, Brandon Staley is the coach to me that is the dumbest smart person in the room, as Dwayne Sutton once tabbed. And the reason why I say that, because I have never seen anybody, I don't care what the analytics say, I have never seen anybody go for it on 4th down deep in your own territory as much as this guy has, and his teams still win. Well, except for that one time. That one time was last year, or I'm sorry, in 2020, when the last game of the year, that game. Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, and it happened again most recently against the Minnesota Vikings. And actually it happened against the Raiders, but they actually got away with it because of some terrible play calling by, in my opinion, Josh McFraud. And it happened in that game. It happened against Minnesota, where they went for it, and then Kirk Cousins threw the ball back to them, and they were able to win the game. Mike McCarthy. And nothing gives me more pleasure than trolling Dallas Cowboy fans and Dallas Cowboys nation in general. Mike McCarthy is the most predictable play caller in the National Football League. He is the most predictable play caller in football, period. And it had me thinking this.
Hey, homie, I don't have nothing. Yeah, you got something. Why you tripping, Debo? Shut up, fuck, I'll knock your ass out.
Oh, man, that's messed up. Why don't you give him back his chain?
What chain?
Yeah, what chain?
You got my food.
I don't know why Mark McCarthy was not in that video, or his face rather, but you know what I'm getting at. And the thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, is that Mike McCarthy, and before we actually get to Mike McCarthy, let's talk about Sean Payton. Sean Payton is the head coach of the 1-5 Denver Broncos. Sean Payton, when he got to Denver, talked so bad about the head coach that came before him, Nathaniel Hackett, saying that it was the worst coaching job that he's ever seen. Well, the last time I checked, the Broncos and the Jets met in week 4, I think it was. And if I'm not mistaken, the Jets did beat the Broncos at Mile High Stadium, or whatever, in Vesco Field at Mile High in Denver. That did happen on the heels of Russell Wilson fumbling the ball, picked up on a scoop and score by the Jet defense. So who are you? And then for you to look, oh my gosh, I have never been a Sean Payton fan. And I was listening or I was watching Get Up on Friday. ESPN and Ryan Clark and Greeny and all those boys were talking about it. And Ryan Clark made a very compelling argument, in my opinion, when he said Drew Brees, people were saying that Sean Payton made Drew Brees. And RC was like, hold up. Let's look at this. Because Sean Payton, Sean Payton has been outcoached in the playoffs by a myriad of people. And Drew Brees, but for a shoulder separation that would have ended his career in the olden days, and but for Jimmy Johnson making the wrong choice between Drew Brees and Dante Culpepper, or it may have been Nick Saban. It was Nick Saban. But for Nick Saban making the wrong choice out of Drew Brees and Dante Culpepper, I think it was Nick Saban. But anyway, but for those things happening, it was only by the snap of a finger that Drew Brees landed in New Orleans. And Drew Brees is the all-time leading passer in a lot of categories in the history of the sport. So looking at the Broncos offense and their defense, and they have a historically bad defense at this point in time. Sean Payton, you are the one that hired Vance Joseph as your D coordinator. Your team is the one team that gave up 70 points earlier in the year. And by the time that the Miami Dolphins had 70 points on the board, it was still over 7 minutes left to go in the game. They could have easily hung about 80 on you guys. So I'm just like, yo. And this dude has complete and total control of what's going on in Denver in terms of personnel. He's 1-5. And they're going to make Russell Wilson a scapegoat. And Russell definitely last year under Hackett had his worst season in his career. This year, he has been okay. It's not the Russell Wilson that we knew and some of us loved in Seattle. That's not the thing. But when you think about what Sean Payton was brought there to do, what he was pulled out of the media booth to do, he has not done any of that so far. And they traded Randy Gregory to the San Francisco 49ers. It's looking like Jerry Jeudy may be on the trade block again. It's looking like, I don't know what they're going to do with Cortland Sutton, but at this point, will they strip it down and put Russell Wilson on the bench? Because I think he's guaranteed money through 2024, even if he gets injured. And nobody's going to take on that contract for Russell Wilson. And it's kind of a sad story because you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback, you have a Super Bowl winning head coach, and it just looked like now that they forgot how to coach and they forgot how to play the quarterback position. That's just my opinion. And then lastly, we have we said Josh McDaniels, we said Brandon Staley, we said Mike McCarthy, and we're going to get back to Mike McCarthy. We're going to get to him just in just a second. And then, of course, we just got to know about Sean Payton. But Mike McCarthy, I saved the best for last. Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys are have played their former offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore with the said Los Angeles Chargers, who the head coach is Brandon Staley. And Mike McCarthy's offense looks like something from Tecmo Bowl. If you guys out there that are a little bit too young to understand what Tecmo Bowl is, Google it. They did not have the most innovative plays on Tecmo Bowl. And that is what the Cowboys offense looks like to me. As a matter of fact, the Cowboys offense has been carried by the defense. The defense has scored just as many points, almost as many points as the offense has the entire season. Excuse me. And in this game against the Chargers, what I was looking forward to seeing is how many points the Chargers offense was going to put up in accordance to what the Cowboys were going to put up. Not how many points they would score as a whole, because we know that when the Cowboys defense is on point, they're getting pick sixes and strip sacks and scooping scores and all of the rest. The only thing they haven't done this year so far is record a safety, if I'm not mistaken. The special teams with KaVontae Turpin rather, we know what they can do. But as we saw on the Sunday night game against the 49ers, in Santa Clara, in the South Bay, last Sunday night, what happens when you have an offensive mind such as Kyle Shanahan that can really put pressure on the Cowboys defense and show or really reaffirm that they can be run on? The Cardinals showed us the blueprint. The 49ers enhanced it. And the Chargers have a couple of pretty good running backs themselves. And they have Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator, who is way more dynamic than Mike McCarthy will ever hope to be in his lifetime. So these are the coaches, ladies and gentlemen, that I am turning up the heat on in week 6. And yes, Josh McDaniels is always on the hot seat because he is the head coach of the team that I have loved and beloved ever since I can walk. And that's been a long time, ladies and gentlemen. That's been a long time. Sean Payton is on the hot seat because he was supposed to be the savior. I've never been a Sean Payton fan. And Dallas Cowboys fans, you guys should be happy that Sean Payton did not come to Dallas. I understand you guys were really all in on Jerry making the move for Sean Payton before Mike McCarthy was hired, or even when Mike McCarthy was on the hot seat before. Y'all were clamoring for Sean Payton. Be glad that didn't happen, because this could be your team that's sitting at 2-4 or 1-5 or whatever the case may be. And you can say, well, the Dallas Cowboys, our team is better than the Broncos. How much better is it? Because the Broncos have a lot of talent. A lot of talent. They've got 2 great receivers and a quarterback that needs to play within himself. So the hot seat is hot. And it's going to get a little cooler for one of these 4, because 2 of them will be facing off against each other in week 6. And you guys already know who I'm pulling for with that. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the second segment of the ShakeBack Sports Show right here on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. Come on back on the other side. We're going to get to some more NFL. And it's on just like that. ShakeBack Sports Show, Big Game Christian Sports Network. To the dopest engineer in the game, Big Day, Willie Epting Jr. Y'all come on back and holler at us.